First, CLS will give some details about the happening, and then you can ask the questions. Okay. Before asking the questions, you can give your identity. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, it's with a heavy heart that I speak to you on this terrible tragedy and the most unfortunate accident that has happened on board one of our submarines last night at around midnight. From the time it happened, some brief details have been shared by the defense PRO with the media. I would elaborate on the details that are known as of now. We do not have all the answers, and after that, any questions that you might have, I'll try and answer them. As of now, we do not have all the answers, and after that, any questions that you might have, I'll try and answer them. As has been seen in the video clips that are being aired, just short of midnight, there were two rapid and near simultaneous major explosions on board the submarine, which resulted in a major and rapid spread of fire on board. Now you are aware that the submarine is essentially a very small vessel with one pressure hull, and the fire spread rapidly, and along with the effort of Mumbai Fire Brigade, it took around 2 hours to douse the fire. In the process, the water ingress that took place from the forward end of the submarine, from the torpedo compartment where the explosion had occurred, as also the water that was used for dousing the fire, resulted in simultaneous flooding of the submarine, with the result that initially the bow end, the forward end, there was a trim, and the clearance alongside south breakwater where the submarine was berthed between the keel and the seabed is of the order of around 3 meters, and initially the bow end came to rest on the seabed, and subsequently the entire submarine settled and currently is sitting alongside in around 3 meters of water. A portion of the hull, depending on the state of the tide, and the range of tide currently is around 1.5 meters, is visible at all points in time. At the moment of the incident, only the submarine's duty watch was on board. That comprised of 3 officers and 15 sailors. The rest of the crew was ashore. As you know that the crew comes in on board at around 8ish on a working day. Now the basic question is what caused the fire and the explosions. We do not have an answer to that question as of now. On any warship, and it is more pronounced on a submarine, there are several ingredients that can contribute to or cause a fire. There is explosive and ammunition on board, obviously. There is fuel. On board a submarine, there is also oxygen bottles. There are battery pits, which at times may exude certain portions of hydrogen. Any combination of any of these malfunctioning could have resulted in the sequencing of the fire. From what the indications are, initially there was a primary explosion of a smaller intensity, which caused the bigger explosions because the ordnance that was kept in the forward torpedo compartment would have been ignited, which resulted in the 2 major explosions. Now, whilst fuel, hydrogen, ammunition, explosives are on board, there are also safeties built in. And fires and explosions are not meant to happen. There are monitoring mechanisms, there is manual monitoring, there is automatic monitoring, there are automatic drenching arrangements for instances of this nature, but quite obviously they have not functioned. We'll need to examine this in detail, gather all the forensic evidence that we can, some of which is being currently gathered in and around the jetty, but most of it will become available only after we have been able to surface the boat. The current state is that our diving teams have been able to open the main hatch on the conning tower. That is the only access into the boat currently. From there, the divers are going inside and they will attempt to create 3 or if possible 2 watertight compartments within the boat. With that, we will commence our dewatering and pumping out activities. All those arrangements are on the standby at the jetty. Once we succeed in pumping out this water, the boat will become lighter and will float to its surface position. And once the access is there, we will have to carry out a detailed examination of the compartments, see what the evidence is there, what ordnance is left on board, what ordnance has exploded, and only then can we come to a definitive conclusion. To that end, we have appointed a board of inquiry, which has got a wide composition of members from every conceivable specialization that could have a bearing on this. There is a Naval Armament Inspectorate member in that. It is headed by a submarine commodore. There is a submarine electrical officer. There is a submarine engineering officer. There is a damage control specialist on board. And we hope to be able to determine what actually caused this catastrophe. Of the crew of 3 officers, 2 were married. Of the crew of 15, 6 sailors are married. So while we hope for the best, at the same time, we also have to prepare for the worst. The boat has remained submerged, or the compartments concerned have remained flooded for more than 12 hours now, commencing from midnight last night. Insofar as the boat is concerned, she was extensively refurbished in Russia late last year. She has returned to Indian waters in April this year. From the time of completion of her extensive upgrade and refurbishment, she has done more than 1,000 dived hours. The crew is virtually the same, other than a change of, I think, 2 officers and 4 or 5 sailors. It is the same crew. For the commanding officer, it is the 4th command of that class of ship. The boat last month has undergone a process of certification by COMSUB, or the Commodore Commanding Submarines West Coast, and come out with highly satisfactory gradings. The material state of the boat also, prima facie, would not be a cause of concern because of the extensive refurbishment that she has completed only very recently. And therefore, both from the material viewpoint as also from crew workup viewpoint, we are at this point in time unable to put our finger on what could have actually gone wrong. Insofar as battery charging in harbour is concerned, all boats are periodically required to charge their batteries in harbour. This particular boat had completed that activity 3 days ago. So again, prima facie, a chance hydrogen emission would not appear to be a likelihood. And therefore, right in the beginning is what I had said, that at this point in time, we are not quite aware of what is it that has caused this major catastrophe. With that, if there are any questions, I'll try to answer.
जितेंद्र, इस पनडुब्बी के साथ फरवरी 2010 में भी हादसा हुआ था. उस हादसे के पीछे विशाखापट्टनम